You know, I'm just really looking to the figures on just a little comment on power generation, because, I mean, the previous government tried several times to see if they could meet that target. They didn't. But this government, they say they've got another target for 2019. We Nigerians really will hope that 10,000 megawatts target will be achieved. But
it's not enough of power.
Still on corruption, since you spoke, we also need to get Mr. Adesina's response about the fight against corruption. Mr. Adesina, I do know that, yes, there's a lot of focus. It's one of the mantra of the government, fighting corruption, which I don't see anyone in the country who would disagree with the fight against corruption. But some of the figures out there, because it was shocking to a number of people when that report came through that in 2015, that about 400 million had exchanged hands, albeit illicitly, within security. I think they use police particularly. And that was under this government in 2015, the report mentioned. But since it's one of the key focus of the government, are you concerned about the, number one, the impression, and I think you should be too, about the actual impact of the fight against corruption? Yes, you have your midterm report, but from your perspective, what you see going on, do you think you're making that desired impact, given the figures and several reports that are coming through about the rate or the spate of corruption in the country?
Thank you. That report you referred to, the police had responded to it, and I think we should stay with what they have said. But let me also mention that 2015 was an election year in Nigeria. This administration did not come into office till the end of the 5th month. And you know that in an election year, a lot of money will be flowing around. So that's a report that you quoted. It's not unlikely that majority of the statistics even were got in the first 5 months of that year, because it was an election year. But then, moving forward, we now know that in this country, stealing is corruption. There was a time they told us stealing was not corruption. But now we know. At the book presentation last week, the Minister of Information in his speech said, today, we have not said corruption has been eradicated completely, but it is no longer an on-the-table affair. It is done under the table now. There was a time that it was brazen. It was in your face. And they will say, go to hell if you don't like it. They didn't carry money in billions, but they did in trillions. The greatest achievement of the anti-corruption war, for me and for a lot of Nigerians, is that stealing is now corruption. If you steal and you are caught, you answer for it. There was a time you stole and it was brazen. It was with impunity, because the body language of those that led the administration was that, well, don't do anything to these people. But today it is different. It is different. We have a president who does not brook corruption in any way. We have the anti-corruption agencies that are not teleguided in any way. The awareness and the realization that stealing is now corruption, and that corruption is a crime, for me, is one of the greatest achievements of the anti-corruption war. The convictions and the trials and all that are just additions. If anybody wants to say it is only politically exposed persons in the other side that have been tried, what about the generals who have been tried? Are they members of the PDP? No. So, it's just looking for excuse to cover an inglorious past, when some people begin to say the anti-corruption war is one-sided, is this, is that. As far as this government knows, the war is being waged and successes have been achieved.
Okay, well